has Pyrazines and new oak. This is Pyrazine sediment and new oak. This is ripe plush fruit, no Pyrazines, and oak. All right. Let's see if we can see anything. All right, Pyrazines, fresh fruit, no minerality. This also has Pyrazines but with oak. And that, I'm not sure. All right. Wine 1, clear, medium, minus concentration of straw, secondaries of silver and green. Tearing is moderate, no gas evidence or sediment. Nose is slightly reductive. Fruit on the nose, citrus, orchard, stone, and tropical fruit. Fresh grapefruit, lemons, peach, green apples, mango, and passion fruit. Citrus blossoms, cut grass, fresh green bell pepper. A slight stony minerality, no evidence of oak. On the palate, the wine is dry. Acidity is medium plus. Acidity is high. Alcohol is moderate. Body is medium minus. Texture is linear. No phenolic bitterness, confirming on the palate. Slight reduction. Fresh lemons, grapefruit, green apples, underripe white peach, mango, passion fruit, lemon blossoms, cut grass, fresh green pepper, bell pepper. No evidence of oak. Slight stony minerality. Wine is in balance. Length is moderate. Complexity is medium. Initial inclusion, possible grape varieties were Sauvignon Blanc. I think this wine's coming from a cool climate. Possible countries are France and New Zealand. Age range is 1 to 3 years. Final conclusion, wine number 1 is a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, from the South Island, from the Marlborough GI, from vineyards in the Wairau, vintage 2025. Fruit smells ripe. Okay, staining. Plush ripe fruit. Wine 6, no Pyrazines on wine 6, but ripe fruit, lots of staining. And there's Pyrazines on 4 and 5.
Have you seen them? I'm so sorry.
No.
No?
No. Going back to wine number 2. I'm going to come back to that a little bit. Somewhat elusive. Wine number 3 has botrytis. Both these wines are kind of difficult. Original thought was Pyrazines on this wine, and I think there's a little bit of oak still, but I'll get back to that later. That smells waxy, honeyed. Okay. Wine number 4 is a moderate plus concentration of ruby at the core with some secondaries of garnet out at the rim, about a centimeter in. Staining is medium plus. There's no gas evidence or sediment. Nose is clean with a powerful intensity. This wine's developing. Fruit on the nose, overripe red cherries and ripe black plum. There's fresh violets, cut grass, green jalapeno, vanilla, chocolate, and mocha, indicating a high intensity of new French oak. Wine is in balance. On the palate, the wine is dry, acidity is moderate, alcohol is high, body is full, tannins are medium plus and plush, confirming on the palate. Overripe red cherries, black plum, fresh jalapeno, vanilla, toast, mocha. There's a bit of sage, dried herbs. No evidence of minerality or earth. Wine is in balance, length is long, complexity is moderate. Additional inclusion, possible grape varieties are Cabernet Sauvignon, Carmenere, and Merlot. I think this wine's coming from a warm climate. Possible countries: the United States, France, and Chile. Age range is 5 to 10 years. Final conclusion, wine number 4 is a Cabernet Sauvignon based blend with Carmenere from Chile, from the Central Valley, from Maipo, from Puente Alto. DO vintage 2021. Wine number 5 is a deep concentration, opaque, hazy purple at the core with secondaries of ruby and a faded ruby rim with lots of sediment. Staining is heavy. There's no gas evidence on the nose. Wine has slight ethyl acetate. Fruit on the nose, fresh blackberries, black plum, and red plum. Fruit quality is fresh to ripe. There's some ripe red plum, fresh black plum, fresh blackberry, violets, iris, fresh yellow pepper, fresh yellow bell pepper, a high intensity of a stony minerality. There's forest floor, mushroom, and then some cedar, vanilla, and cardamom, indicating a moderate intensity of new French oak. On the palate, the wine is dry, acidity is medium plus, alcohol is moderate, the body of the wine is medium plus, tannins are medium plus with a hard texture. Confirming on the palate, Wine gets more tart on the palate, fresh red cherries, red plum, black plum, and just right blackberry. Violets, iris, fresh yellow bell pepper, indicating pyrazines, indicating Bordeaux variety. Vanilla, cinnamon, cardamom, confirming a moderate intensity of new French oak. And then forest floor, mushroom, and a high intensity of a gravelly minerality. The wine is in balance, length is long, complexity is high. Initial inclusion, possible grape varieties are Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc. I think this wine's coming from a moderate climate. Possible countries are France, Australia, and the United States. Because of the moderate alcohol, hard tannin structure, elevated acidity, I think this wine can only be a Cabernet Sauvignon from France, from Bordeaux, from the left bank of Bordeaux, from the Haute-Médoc, from Margaux, vintage 2019, class growth. Malbec Zinfandel, still Botrytis. Okay. Wine number 2 is a clear, medium minus concentration of straw, secondaries of silver. Tearing is moderate. There's no gas evidence or sediment. Nose is slightly reductive with a powerful intensity and youthful. Fruit on the nose. Fresh lemons, grapefruit, ripe peach, yellow apple, and passion fruit. There's a bit of cut grass, fresh bell pepper, vanilla and toast, indicating a low intensity of new French oak, small format barrels, high intensity of a gravelly minerality. There's a bit of creme fraiche and bread dough, indicating partial malolactic fermentation and possible time on the lees. A little bit of honey and paraffin. On the palate, the wine is dry, acidity is high, alcohol is moderate, body is moderate, texture is linear, confirming on the palate. Fresh lemons, grapefruit, underripe peach. The wine gets more tart on the palate. Wine gets more tart on the palate. Underripe mango, underripe pineapple. Some delicate florals here, lemon blossoms, paraffin, candle wax, vanilla and toast, confirming the low intensity of new French oak. Really mineral. The minerality almost becomes more kind of saline on the palate. And then a touch of toast and creme fraiche, indicating lees aging and partial malolactic fermentation. Wine is in balance. Length is moderate plus, complexity is moderate plus. Initial inclusion, possible grape varieties are Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon, and Riesling. I think this wine's coming from a moderate climate. Possible countries are Germany, France, and New Zealand. Germany, France, and Australia. Age range is 1 to 3 years. Final conclusion, wine number 2 is a Sauvignon Blanc base blend with Semillon, roughly 80% Sauvignon Blanc, 20% Semillon, from France, from Bordeaux, from the left bank of Bordeaux, from Grave, from Pessac, Leognan, class growth, vintage 2023. There. Very confident, somewhat confident, Very confident. Just a little ripe though. Alcohol is just not showing on this wine. I think this is going to be easier. And the acidity is not ripping either. Is this like red dough and leesy? A little botrytis. It's kind of floral. I'm gonna do that one last. All right. Wine number 6 is a deep concentration of purple at the core with a bright ruby rim. Staining is heavy. There's no gas evidence or sediment. Nose clean with a powerful intensity and youthful. There's a slight ethyl acetate on this wine. Fruit on the nose, overripe blackberry, blueberry jam, fresh red raspberry, and a bit of tart, just ripe strawberry. There's cinnamon, a touch of black pepper, vanilla, and toast, indicating moderate intensity of new French oak small format barrels. No minerality. And a slight herbaceous quality. On the palate, the wine is dry. Acidity is moderate plus. Alcohol is high. Body is full. Medium, plush textured tannins. Confirming on the palate. Ripe blackberries, blueberry jam, just ripe strawberry, and fresh raspberry. The different fruit quality, possibly indicating differential ripening. A little bit of black pepper, toast, vanilla smoke, indicating a moderate intensity of new French oak barrique. No evidence of minerality or earth. Good acidity. Wine is in balance, length is long, complexity is moderate. Initial inclusion, possible grape varieties are Zinfandel Malbec and Tempranillo. I think this wine's coming from a warm climate. Possible countries are Spain, Argentina, and the United States. Age range is 3 to 5 years. Final conclusion, wine number 6 is a Zinfandel from the United States, from California, from Sonoma County, from Dry Creek Valley AVA, vintage 2022. Smells like Napa. But the tannins are hard. They're not plush. They're a little bit stocky or green even. and alcohol is not over the top, and the finish is more mineral and earthy than sweet. So even old school producers, there's quite a bit of color. It's really, really savory. So much bell pepper, has to be Chile. Riesling is a possibility here. That paraffin, panna cotta, or is it petrol? Is there oak? I think I'm going to change my conclusion on wine number 2. Wine is reductive, and I think that the sweet kind of panna cotta paraffin quality in this wine led me astray. I think this wine number 2 is a Riesling from Australia, from South Australia, from Clare Valley, vintage 2024. All right, 2.5 minutes. Wine number 3 is a moderate gold, or moderate yellow, secondaries of gold, tearing moderate, no gas evidence or sediment. Nose is clean, powerful intensity, youthful, fruit on the nose, fresh lemons, green apples, ripe peach, nectarine, almond blossom, cherry blossom. There's a bit of blanched almond as well, honey and saffron indicating botrytis, and a high intensity of a stony minerality. On the palate, the wine's dry, acidity is medium plus, alcohol is moderate, body is medium, the texture is crisp, and there's phenolic bitterness confirming on the palate. Fresh lemons, fresh peach, nectarine, yellow apples, a bit of mango, almond blossom, cherry blossom, high intensity of a stony minerality, and bread dough and cheese rind indicating lees aging. Wine is in balance. Length is long, complexity is moderate plus. Initial conclusion, possible grape varieties are Gruner Veltliner, Garganega, and Melon de Bourgogne. I think this wine's coming from a moderate climate. Possible countries are Austria, France, and Italy. Age range is 3 to 5 years. Final conclusion, wine number 3 is a Garganega from Italy, from the Veneto, from Soave Classico DOC, vintage 2022. Why not semi-on? No lees on the finish. This one. The alcohol just wasn't there. Zinfandel. I'm going to say wine number 6, grape varieties are Zinfandel blended with Petit Syrah. That I like. Yeah. Garganega. This one, challenging. All right. That's it.